I'm Kathy Masarie. I just want to give you a little bit about my background, why I'm standing in front of you, and then what we're going to do is talk about the problems that are facing girls today, spend most of our time on the solutions. It makes, to me, I like to talk about the problems because it makes the solutions make more sense. And so it gets kind of depressing though. You're going to find your energy going down. So I'll tell you when we're over and done with that, moving on. So my story is that I am a pediatrician, did that for about 18 years, found that I was frustrated with I found that my heart lied in prevention, in that I want to, like when you guys had little kids, you brought your problems in early, and I felt like I really was preventing problems. Often your teenagers came in late, like already pregnant, already anorexic, already depressed, and it's like, the problem kind of started 3 years ago, but you kind of thought that's how, I mean, who knows? It's hard. It's hard to figure out when it goes that direction, how to catch it early. I was determined to figure out what you needed to know early to prevent those problems. And I left my practice, I left my pediatric practice to start a nonprofit called Full Steam Ahead. And what I discovered was that these study guides were a great vehicle for giving parents information and getting them together, talking to each other. This gets the expert out of the room. You talk to each other and network and support each other and support each other's kids, and you don't need the expert because you're just preventing the problems early. So that's what those Raising Our Daughters, Raising Our Sons were designed to do. In the last 3 years, I've been a parent life coach, another early intervention way. So as you can tell, I like many hats. I like to jump around in my profession, and it keeps life exciting for me. And kind of hectic. Can identify with you guys. I have also a 25-year-old daughter and a 23-year-old son, both of whom are living at home. Both of whom have graduated from college. My daughter's at medical school. My son just graduated from college and is saving money to travel around the world. So I consider it a success that they want to live with me and are willing to put up with whatever it is I still do that drives them crazy. And so I get a lot of my experience that I share with you from like really getting down with my kids, you know. It's like I've been there in the trenches with you guys. This is an amazing tip for a parent, is to think about long-term parenting. To think about, begin with the end in mind. And when we're talking about long-term parenting, I think it's good to just write up what are your goals? What would you like your 18-year-old well, let's say your college-age girl to look like, to be like?
Not to look like, but what I would like is like to have fun seeing me.
Yes, to have a connection. Thank you. That's like, to me, the most important one. I want them to talk to me. So, long-term is I want a connection. Right? Confidence. What else? Responsibility. What else? Independent thinker. Independent thinker both, yeah. Independent thinker, definitely. Especially since they're about to go be in a world of peers for a while where we're not around. Self-regard, high self-regard, healthy. I like to call it healthy, because there's people that have high self-esteem that don't really have anything backing it up. Like prisoners, male prisoners have very high self-esteem, they just got caught. So we want healthy self-esteem. I knew you were talking about that anyway, just want to clarify that. What else? Being connected to our own set of values. Awesome. Connected to values and strong sense of self because of that. call it strong self-sense. We should make up a word for what that is.
Happy?
Happy, yeah. What else?
Problem solver. Problem solver.
A problem solver, yeah. Not that they don't have problems, but they know when they have one that they know how to get out of it. That's a good one. What about money? Earn a lot. I mean, financial responsibility is something that nobody really teaches us formally. It's like you kind of catch it or you don't.
The independence can...
It can be, yeah, it can definitely include that, but just as a separate category, financially responsible, anyway. Yeah, this is a process. They're not necessarily going to be there right there, but at least they're on the path. This is my view of parenting. This is a very simplified view of 18 years of parenting. When they're a baby, they can't even eat without our intervention. I mean, we are on them, right? Every single thing that happens to them, we are involved. And by the time they're 18, we've backed off to a respectful distance, given them their space to be who they are going to be, right? But usually every day we don't parent a little differently than the day before. We usually parent the same way we parented the day before until our kids tell us it's not working anymore. And then we go, whoa, I need some new tools in my parenting toolbox, and then you change. So, you know, good kids, good inner compass kids will let you know when you're pushing them around, so that so you can end up with an 18-year-old that has kind of a head of their own. Here's a concept I want to introduce you to. It's the amoeba. Has anybody ever heard me talk about the amoeba? You're like, what does an amoeba have to do with parenting? I'm going to show you that. So here's the amoeba that we learned about in Biology 101, and the amoeba responds to two things: pinprick, sugar cube, right? It avoids pain, goes towards food. And if you have a super obedient kid that just responds to the sugar cube and pinpricks in their life, that means they're very obedient, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they've got anything going on the inside. And when these kids go off to college, they just can lose it. I mean, there were kids that my kids knew, because they've both been through college, who were just like set loose because they were very tightly reined in their entire 18 years, and they never got in any trouble, and if they did, they were like reined right back in, and so they never learned how to maneuver, make decisions for themselves, and they went off the deep end, basically, when they were 18. That's not what you want, even though it's actually kind of nice to parent that, because they just do what you say, and do what you want. And so you have to, there are some kids that, you know, and I'm not saying that if your kid's doing the right thing, it's bad, because maybe they have a very strong internal compass that just happens to agree with what you're encouraging them to do also. It's not a bad thing. Just want to make sure that it's in here. So the only way that you can know that is to back off somewhat. You know, like if you're nagging them every night to get their homework in, that gets their homework in the next day, but doesn't do it, so that gets them, you know, because they don't want to hear you nagging them, they do it. Does that get it in here, the responsibility for taking ownership for my own learning? And sometimes you have to back off and let the homework slip for a little bit and have some consequences happen in society for them to learn that, yeah, there's a reason why I'm doing this. It's different than just my getting away from my mom's nag. You guys see that? So every day that you, when you're thinking, I mean, almost every single thing you engage with your kid about, you could like ask yourself, how is this in service of the long-term goal, and is it? We are a generation of helicopter parents. You guys know what that is? We don't like to see our kids in pain as a parent population, and so we tend to rescue. We want them to be happy at all costs. And, you know, they forgot their paper. Oh my goodness, I'm going to come get it to you. You forgot your lunch. I would never want you to go hungry. You can't learn if you're hungry, so I need to come give you your lunch. That's called rescue parenting. And it's okay, of course. I get rescued by my husband still today. You know, I have a class starting in 10 minutes and I didn't clean the kitchen, can you help me? That's a rescue. We're just real clear about when we're asking each other to rescue, be rescued. And sometimes supporting your kid is getting out of the way and letting them fall. Little falls, like you were saying, little choices. And give them little choices, a little leeway, and then they can learn that.